All right. Once again, it's time to enter the cage, and we are. Oh boy, folks. This is it. This is it, folks. This is the Holy Grail of Nicolas Cage. I have found it, but I still need to continue after this. I'm doing Nicolas Cage and Rick Moranis back to back. I didn't change between the two. So while searching on Roku, I found Vampire's Kiss on Pluto TV. I also found there's another film that I'm going to watch later that I consider to be an essential Nicolas Cage watch. So, or an essential review, I should say. So I've set up, certain Nicolas Cage movies, and then the Rick Moranis movies that I have. So, but this is it, folks. This is the Holy Grail of Nicolas Cage. It is Nicolas Cage at his Nicolas Cageiest. It is Vampire's Kiss. Guys, I don't know what to say about this movie. I feel like I've lost my damn mind watching this film. So Nicolas Cage plays Peter, who is your stereotypical 80s yuppie type guy. He has a high-paying job with a secretary, strange accent, and one night he goes to the club, hooks up with this chick. I don't remember her name, but we get to see some titties. And then a bat randomly flies in his apartment because he has one of those apartments that could never exist in real life, where the windows open up to just open air and there's no screens. Like, do windows exist where it's just, I find that highly I find that very unnecessary. Like, why would you have a window without screens? You're just gonna get bugs and birds and stuff flying in your window. But, and I see it mostly in movies. I've never been to an apartment building where they just have open window like that. So I don't know. But unless the screen was broken, which I don't know. Eric had a giant window. The screen was broken, and we can climb out onto the little awning thing. But I don't know. Anyway, so during this, the bat flies in. Now, I'm not exactly sure if he gets bit by the bat, but after this, he starts to hallucinate this woman that he apparently does meet, because later in the film, we do actually see the actual character. She's played by Jennifer Beals. And we see her towards the end of the film, and it's basically, she knows who he is, but it's like they met once. But this version is a vampire, and she bites him, and he thinks he's starting to turn into a vampire. This entire movie chronicles his quote-unquote transformation into that vampire as he gets more and more erratic as the movie goes on. He starts wearing sunglasses during the day. He buys fake vampire teeth. He starts acting very erratically. There are several scenes where he's harassing his secretary. He keeps yelling at her to find a file. And I thought the payoff for this was going to be that the file never actually existed and he was losing his mind. But at the end, she's like, I found the file. And I'm like, what? And then he just attacks her or something. It's implied that he raped her, but I don't think we see anything. But there are several scenes of dialogue that Nicolas Cage does where it's just over the top. Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage you'll ever seen. There's a scene where he's yelling for his secretary, Alva, where are you? Oh, Alva, Alva. He comes out, he jumps on top of this, and he goes, there you are. And there's He starts yelling out the alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Am I getting through to you? It's just so over the top Nicolas Cage that this is definition of so bad it's good. People want to say what's so bad it's good. You got The Room, you got Troll 2, and you got Vampire's Kiss. Those are 3 movies I would say is definitely so bad it's good. It's just people say, oh, Nicolas Cage didn't get nuts until later in his career. Look at this. Look at Face Off, for God's sake. He was nuts before things. And apparently behind the scenes he was nuts too. Like during the sex scenes, he wanted to have yogurt poured on his feet so he could get turned on. He wanted a real bat to bite him. And he ate a real cockroach. 3 times, because they did that scene 3 times. He ate 3 cockroaches. Yeah, Nicolas Cage be nuts. Apparently he didn't get along with actress Jennifer Beals either because the original casting choice was Patricia Arquette, which was his, at the time, girlfriend, and he was mad. Apparently he didn't like the fact that she wasn't cast, and Jennifer Beals was, so apparently they didn't get along. Which, there's quite a scenes. We don't get to see her tits, but we get to see, like, side boob. Most of the time she's, like, covered, and she's smooshed up against him or whatever, but it's just like, then there was one time that I call the cock tease scene, right? Because she shows up and she's getting ready to go and she goes to take her top off. I'm like, yes, show me. And then it's just like, brah, cock tease. And then the next thing it cuts and she's just in bed, booshing up against him. I'm like, we got to see tits at the beginning as we see side boob, and I'm not going against the actress at all. But if we're going to do a scene with nudity, find an actress that'll go all the way with it. I'm pretty sure Patricia Arquette wouldn't have done it either, but get an actress that you know will go full. We can see something, just a beautiful woman, but I don't know. It is tasteful, though, the way they do it. I'll just say. I mean, I like seeing me some tits in movies, but it is tasteful, I will say. So, at some point, the receptionist gets to her brother, and she's like, she has a gun that she threatens him with because he, like, runs into the women's bathroom after her, which I thought didn't happen. Because I thought it was like, first I thought it was one of his hallucinations. It's hard to figure out. And then next he's like, she doesn't show up for work, and then she tells, apparently it did happen, and then she tells her brother, I need bullets for this gun. Well, it's not a real gun, it only fires blanks. So she gets blanks. So when she fires the gun at him, he thinks he's a vampire because the bullets didn't kill him. So that only adds to it. He does kill someone, though, which, okay, at first I was like, she starts biting her, and I'm like, because I read Wikipedia before this, and it says that she does die from his bite, and I'm like, how can biting someone in the neck kill them? Injure, sure, but you're not draining the blood. But here, it's like spilled out and everything. I'm like, okay, maybe she died. Maybe she like went unconscious and she died from the blood pouring out, blood loss. Possible. And he gets like the fake teeth. He's screaming, running down the streets. That's another Nicolas Cageism. He's running down the street screaming, I'm a vampire, I'm a vampire, I'm a vampire. Which apparently they did actually just have him run down a street with random people that weren't. Like, imagine this. Like, I'm assuming they had to sign a release. So, like, imagine, like, Nicolas Cage runs down the street, I'm a vampire, I'm a vampire, I'm a vampire. And then all of a sudden these film people come up, we need you to release so we can put you in our movie. And they're like, okay. I'm assuming they had to film some kind of release because you just can't just put people in a film without their consent, And then there's the scene where he's in the desk, and it's the thumbnail for this video. He's got this therapist, and I thought at first that the thing was going to be the therapist wasn't real. That he was saying things. And by the end, I thought for sure that's what it meant. But I think what it was there was a therapist, but the meaning and the end was fake. It was like, all of a sudden he's introduced to this. The ending is so fucked up. There's this scene where he's just standing on a street corner talking to no one because he's in the middle of the street corner. His hair's all messed up. At one point, he starts to walk around like Nosferatu, so he's got his hair all messed up, combing over the top, and more erratic. He's got blood all over himself, and he's talking to no one, but he thinks he's talking to his therapist. And then his therapist introduces him to a patient that happens to just come in after him, and they're just the same. But like he gets back to his apartment, and all of a sudden he's arguing with his fantasy of, "Oh, you stupid bitch." He says the C word. I don't like saying the word, but the C word, C-U-N-T word, he says it a lot. I don't like that word, but he says it a lot. In this moment, he gets all pissed. Then Alvin's brother shows up, and he gets staked through the heart. Like, he stakes Nicolas Cage through the heart. Nicolas Cage is like up, like has his futon or couch or whatever, turned over like a coffin, and like he comes over and he hits the wood through him, and that's how it ends with him just laying there, like he's stabbed. I don't know. Like I said, there's a scene later where he's in the club. Like he hooks up with this chick at the beginning, right? And then she's dropped maybe halfway through the film. Like they go to this museum and he ditches her, and then like he wants to apologize to her, but then he gets tempted by the fantasy of the vampire chick, so he goes back up to his apartment, and she writes him a note, and then he tears it apart, and that's all we hear from this chick for the rest of the film. Is after that note, she's just gone. She's not back. She's not brought back into it at all. She's just gone. And then he meets the real vampire chick, who's not a vampire, and she, like, okay, I gotta call bullshit on this, cause like, so he hallucinates that she's there, and then this guy shows up, and she's like, well, I got him now, and walks away. And so, but then he sees the real her. She's with the same guy. How can he hallucinate a guy? She's wearing the same clothes too. So how can he hallucinate that she's wearing the same clothes, and she's with hallucinate the guy she's with? He's never seen him before. There's ways to interpret this. Either he's really going nuts, or she really is a vampire, and he's using her. She was using him, and now she found someone else, but it just doesn't, even hallucination-wise, why would she be wearing the same clothes he's hallucinating her in? And how can he possibly know what guy she's gonna bang with if he didn't even know if he didn't even know she was actually there? It just doesn't make any sense. There is a theory that at the beginning, if it does actually happen, if he gets bit by the bat, that it's the rabies making him go nuts. There's no way to make sense of this film. It is nuts from beginning to end. Even before he gets bitten, he's very strange. He talks with a strange accent, and he says he's from Philadelphia, but he moved to New York. Philadelphians don't talk like that. New Yorkians don't talk like that. I don't know. I really don't know. This movie is strange. It really is, but I'll be damned if I wasn't entertained from beginning to end. I don't know. It's so bad it's good. I feel like I have to have a special category. So, but it's so bad it's good movies, I'm going to say this movie is just dumb fun. So there you go. That's a new category for the movies that are so bad they're good. They're just wacky. Just dumb fun. So what are your thoughts on vampires, kids? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. For watching, I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.